Hello, and thank you for joining our discussion about how to create a profitable pricing structure using the rule of three. My name is Ken Baur. I've owned and operated frame shops since the mid-1980s, teaching seminars and writing for publications about the programs and practices which help my company be successful. Today, I'm a full-time consultant for our industry, concentrating on helping shops with pricing, marketing, productivity, and team building. Before we discuss the benefits of using rule of three pricing, I want to remind you that any pricing strategy which is not customized to your company's gross margin requirements is not the best solution for your business. The correct way to price your projects is to determine the gross margin you need based on your sales income and your operating expenses. That being said, strategies like the rule of three can be effective in helping you overcome the problems caused by using the default or preloaded pricing that comes today with today's point of sale systems. The rule of three pricing was created to help framers find a solution for pricing premium products like museum glass and Optium acrylic. It guarantees a consistent amount of profit and establishes a more competitive pricing structure for large pieces of glazing. The main advantage of this pricing model is the guarantee of a set amount of profit. This occurs because pricing is set at 3 times the amount of profit that would be received by a shop when selling conservation clear glass. This type of pricing model also eliminates the tendency to overprice large pieces of premium products. This is important because point of sale systems preloaded pricing often applies the same markup to all sizes, resulting in inflated large size pricing. The reason I advocate a model like the rule of three is that it emphasizes the dollars placed in your bank account rather than locking in a set markup. Markup is what dictates gross margin, so it is important, but it is not conducive to making sales on higher priced materials. More than 60% of a typical shop's projects are less than a 20 by 24 size or 44 United inches. In the rule of three model, we set our conservation clear pricing to create much larger markups on sizes smaller than 44 United inches because this is where the vast majority of sales occur, and markups on smaller pieces are far less noticeable than when aggressive markups are applied to sizes over 44 United inches. The key to the successful rule of three model is to set your conservation clear pricing at the correct markup for your operation. Once you do that, your premium products like museum glass can be easily calculated. So, the rule of three is not something that was developed to offset slow business or to be used as a discounted method of pricing. It was created to offer a consistent amount of profit, which results in more competitive pricing structure for large sizes, something that will help shops sell more premium product and sell more of the amazing benefits that these products offer regardless of economic conditions. By selling more premium products, not only will your customers benefit, but your average ticket will increase. And that's the true measure of profitability in custom framing. All right, so let's take a look at the steps for creating rule of three pricing. And we're just going to use 2 sizes in our illustration to make it a little more easier to follow. The first would be a small size, 16 by 20, and then we'll use a larger size, 32 by 40. The first step is to calculate the cost for each size of conservation clear you buy. Here's a chart using the cost supplied by Larson Jewell. So a typical cost for a 16 by 20 sheet of glass these days would be about $3.47. And for a 32 by 40 size, about $13.29. The second step is to calculate the retail pricing for these sizes of glass. If you're uncertain about how to generate that pricing, here's what I use as my nationally suggested retail pricing for those 2 sizes. Last year, I developed nationally suggested retail pricing for every size and every type of Tru Vue glazing. At the end of this talk, if you need help with something with getting those prices, we'll tell you how you can get those. But for a 16 by 20, the suggested retail price for Conservation Clear is $26.19. For a 32 by 40, it would be $62.84. Now remember that national suggested retail pricing might be too low for some shops and possibly too high for others. Step 3 is to determine what your markup is for each size. Now that's important because we want to mark up smaller piece sizes higher than larger sizes. Doing so helps profits because most shops sell more than 60% in sizes less than 20 by 24 or 44 United inches. So it's advantageous to make a higher markup on those sales. Also, the higher markup is much less noticeable to customers on smaller sizes. Here is what the markups would look like using KB suggested retails. The formula for determining markup is retail price minus cost divided by retail price. So for 16 by 20, we would subtract the cost, $3.47, from the retail price of $26.19 and divide that number by the retail price of $26.19, arriving at a markup of 87%. On a 32 by 40 size, we would subtract a cost of $13.29 from the suggested retail of $62.84, arriving at a markup of 79%. Notice how the markups descend as sizes and costs of materials increase. Since the great majority of projects are sold on smaller sizes, the overall markup using this pricing strategy would be well over 80%. Step 4. Now we would want to calculate the profit on each size. This is done by subtracting the cost of the piece of glass from the retail price. Here's the profit by size using the KB suggested pricing. It would be in the 16 by 20, the retail price of $26.19 minus the cost of $3.47, arriving at a profit of $22.72. 32 by 40 size would be $62.84 minus the cost of $13.29 for a profit of $49.55. Now that you've established a retail pricing strategy for conservation clear glass, you can easily create a profitable pricing strategy for premium or more expensive glass, one that guarantees 3 times the profit you would have received if you had sold conservation clear. Here's the formula for creating the rule of 3. Conservation clear profit amount times 3 plus the cost of the premium product that you want to create pricing for. Here's how this would look when creating rule of 3 pricing for museum glass using KB suggested pricing for conservation clear. On our 16 by 20 size, we had a profit of $22.72. We would multiply that by 3 and then add the cost of the same size of museum glass. In this case, it would be $17.27, arriving at rule of 3 pricing for 16 by 20 museum glass of $85.43. Looking at the 32 by 40 size, we had a profit of $49.55 for conservation clear glass. Again, we would multiply that by 3 and then add the cost of the museum glass at 32 by 40 size, which is $70, to arrive at a suggested retail price for museum glass of $218.65. Now let's calculate the markups that your new museum glass pricing strategy has created. This formula is again retail price minus cost divided by retail. Here's what museum glass markups look like using the KB suggested pricing. Notice that the markups for museum glass run well below the markups used for conservation clear. While this is true, overall margins for museum glass still exceed 75% since the majority of sales take place in sizes below 20 by 24 or 44 United inches. In addition, using lower markups dramatically reduces pricing for more expensive large size pieces. Let's look at this more closely. If we use the same markup of 79% on the 32 by 40 piece of museum glass as we did for the 32 by 40 piece of conservation clear, it would have set the price at over $333 instead of the recommended price of $218.65. This huge difference could have a big impact on your ability to sell museum glass at those sizes. Using the rule of three, you can offer competitive pricing on premium products while still ensuring 3 times the profit you would receive selling your basic products. The final step is to determine the profit dollars you would take to the bank using rule of three pricing. Here's how that looks using the KB suggested pricing for each instance. The profit produced when selling museum glass is 3 times the profit that would have been received when selling conservation clear. For example, in the 16 by 20 size, we profited $22.72 selling conservation clear. Using the rule of three, we would profit $68.16 if we sold museum glass at the same size for the same project. In the 32 by 40 example, conservation clear glass, we profited $49.55. If we would sell museum glass on that project, we would profit $148.65. Why does the rule of three work well for Tru Vue glazing? The rule of three works well for Tru Vue glazing because it guarantees a set return or profit on every sale made with premium products while keeping prices competitive. If a consistent markup is used on all sizes, prices can become too high very quickly on larger size pieces. Higher price moldings, matting, and premium glazing can be challenging to sell since we run the risk of negative client reaction. However, these products offer customers options in which they may not even be aware of. By exposing customers to better designs and products which dramatically improve the ability to enjoy them, we can allow the customer to make that decision. In the case of museum glass, removing glare while providing maximum UV protection allows customers to enjoy a view of their artwork that often leads to repeat sales of this product. Offering premium products at more competitive prices while still maintaining profit levels is a very effective way to elevate the quality of projects while exposing your customers to those amazing products. Be sure to let your customers decide what's best for them. Because these formulas can be a bit time consuming to use, I've created a spreadsheet which contains all the formulas necessary to create rule of three pricing automatically. Contact me using the email address on the screen to request a copy. Also, if you need a copy of the national suggested retail pricing for all varieties of Tru Vue glazing, just let me know. Finally, I hope this discussion on the rule of three pricing strategy helps you to price premium products in your shop. I want to send out a huge thank you to Tru Vue for providing this platform, which allows us to share information that helps shops grow and become more profitable. Their continued investment in the growth of our industry provides a valuable resource for all of us. Good luck with the rule of three, and I hope it helps all of you not only increase sales, but increase your profitability. Thanks for joining us.